Still in chapter 2, having just finished up the parts on the mystical and occult traditions, and then we followed it up with popular contemporary approaches or like Robert Monroe stuff. And now we're into the materialistic theories, which is basically going to be like Stephen LaBerge's classic viewpoints on it. Stephen LaBerge claims that the OBE is a lucid dream. Everything you perceive during an OBE is no more than a dream environment, a replica recreated from your own memory and your own expectations. It holds no objective reality whatsoever. Then he kind of talks a bit more in here about what dream-induced lucid dreams are and what wilds are, or dream-induced, or, dream-initiated lucid dreams, whatever you want to call them. So I'm just going to assume most of you on my channel already know what that shit is, so we'll keep on rolling. Then he has this part here to highlight, and this part here was really interesting to me because, just reading it, it really set off a light bulb in my head that makes so much sense and just never crossed my mind, until reading it in here. So he points out how Stephen LaBerge reported that 8% of his lucid dreams in total were wilds, and, 92% were all dream-initiated. He writes in here how somebody else named Darnold de Garcia reported that 43% of his dreams were waking-induced and 57% were dream-initiated. Then he talks about himself, Frederick, right? And he says how 83% of his lucid dreams were wake-initiated and only 17% were dream-induced, right? And that just really, set that light bulb off, because I've always just assumed people were going to be kind of more, along the lines of me and Steven, just in frequency of having these wilds. Or like for me, they happen very rarely. Like maybe like 5 nights a year I'll get them. And I say nights instead of like actual wild experiences, because most of the time when I have a wild, it tends to come when I'm, having some type of insomnia shit going on. So I'm stuck awake in bed. Normally I'm probably already a couple hours into trying to fall asleep. And then finally at some point, sleepiness is going to win. So hypnagogia starts to come on really strong. And then by the time I get to that point of the insomnia trip, I'm always kind of happy then, because at least then I know sleep is coming. And then it's always fun to kind of play in that state when it's so strong and there. But anyway, when I'm in one of those, very often on those nights, I'll have multiple wilds where I'll be playing in the hypnagogia. I'll watch it build up. I'll transition from there straight up into full-on sleeping in REM, right? Now I'm in the dream environment, right? It's all 3D and everything. But then something will happen where like my mind will kick in too much, or maybe right after I transition into sleep, my mind will kick in, I'll wake back up, or the goddamn chickens will go off like you might have just heard them, or some dog will bark, or who knows what. I'll wake up. And then I'll be stuck awake again, right, for, another 5-10 minutes, playing hypnagogia, fall back asleep fall into a wild, wake back up, and do that crap over and over again. Anyway, besides the point, why was I even saying that? I guess my point is, for people like Frederick here, who have a lot more wilds than they do, DILDs or dream-initiated lucid dreams, of course they would have a really different perspective on it, right? Where for me, on the rare occasion, or even the rarer occasion when I actually have like the wild where it feels like I'm rising up out of my body and it looks like I'm in my bedroom. Those for me, because I have just so many more lucid dreams, or even a typical wild where I just transitioned from the hypnagogia into some fantasy dreamland that looks nothing like my bedroom. Those for me always just felt like lucid dreams, and I never bothered really even giving it serious consideration to go deeper than that. But if you're somebody else like Frederick, where you're constantly having these dreams of, rising up out of your body, seeming like you're in your bedroom or your house or whatever, that would give a lot more credence and interest into checking that out, like maybe it is real. So I just thought that was really interesting and worth pointing out.